If I could tell anybody about what to expect afterwards, is prepare your fire departments. From the smallest volunteer fire department to the largest paid department. You might not have the funds or resources to do everything, but if one department became specialized in trench rescue, one in rope, one in hazardous material, decon, these things could happen anywhere between dirty bombs, the lone wolf, the active shooter. Every day we're the first ones out the door with the police and EMS. We're going to be the first ones there, and we're going to have to deal with whatever we get faced with.
When we decided this year's FDIC would pay tribute to the 25th remembrance of the heroic actions of our nation's firefighters on 9/11, we wanted someone to keynote who embodied turning tragedy into doing good. Someone with a personal connection that set the example for service. The first person that came to mind was Frank Siller. Frank has served as chairman and CEO of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation since its inception, honoring his younger brother, FDNY firefighter Stephen Siller, who gave his life on that day. A former entrepreneur with home building experience, Frank transformed personal tragedy into a mission serving America's heroes. For more than 2 decades, the foundation has provided mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. They're built specially adapted smart homes for catastrophically injured veterans and first responders, and worked to eradicate veteran homelessness with zero government dollars. To date, the foundation has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in supporting those who defend our freedoms. Siller's service has earned him numerous honors, including FDNY Honorary Battalion Chief, the Department of Army Commander's Award for Public Service, and the Police Benevolent Association Person of the Year. It is my honor to welcome to the FDI stage a person who exemplifies service, resilience, and doing good, Mr. Frank Siller.
I have to read on the teleprompter. My name is Frank Siller. I am in awe to be here today among so many heroes and their families, and those who are being honored in such a special way and recognized, and legacy family members that lost your dad on 9/11. And I know the stories because a lot of you have helped us in our reflections of 9/11 for our 9/11 Institute from the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. So it is an honor to be here. I feel very small amongst people who are willing to run into buildings and put their life on the line every single day. But I have a great, distinct honor to our foundation and honor my brother to be there when somebody pays the ultimate sacrifice for our country or for our community. 9:59 a.m. on September 11, 2001. Many lives changed. My brother Stephen, who worked at Squad 1 in Brooklyn, was just finished his night tour. He was on his way home to play golf at my brother George, my brother Russ, and myself. The 4 Siller brothers were going to play golf. We didn't get to do it too often because we had families. But we were going to play golf on September 11, 2001. He's on his way home for his night shift. He hears on his scanner, like so many of you guys have your scanners on all the time, that the North Tower was hit. He turns his truck around, goes back. He calls his wife on the way back to his firehouse, and he says, Sally, tell my brothers I'm going to try to catch up with them later, because everyone didn't know for sure when the first tower was hit what was happening. He goes back, he gets his gear, drives to the mouth of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel. It's closed for security reasons. But what do these guys do? Every single one of them. How many were off duty or just finished their duty that found a way to get there that day? How many? It's incredible, the dedication and commitment and call to duty that you all have. It was closed for security reasons. He puts his gear on his back. He runs through the 1.7-mile tunnel up West Street, runs into a engine truck 224, grabs a hook off the back of the truck on the corner of Liberty and West Street, the last place he was seen alive, or at least somebody saw him alive there. And I believe he ran into the South Tower, because that's where Squad 1, many Squad 1 members were already there, and everyone would want to be with their company that they trained with. And going up those stairs, and that tower came down at 9:59 a.m. I lost my brother. I turned to my mother-in-law, who was sitting in my house at the time, because once again, we were going to play golf. So I had a couple of my brothers there. And my mother-in-law was sitting there, and I said, Nancy, I think I just lost my brother. Not knowing how he got there that day, not knowing any of this, what I just told you, but just knowing who he was. You must know a little bit something about Stephen to understand the loss that we have as a family, and every family had the same loss, that had that loss. When Stephen was born, November 15th, 1966, my father came to my classroom. I was in the 8th grade. I was 14 years old. And he came, he stuck his head in the door, and he called the teacher over. I thought I was in trouble again. And the teacher said, you know, Mr. Siller, your father's out there. I walk outside in the hallway. My father has a tear coming down his eyes, down his cheek. And I said, Dad, what's the matter? He said, you have a brother, Stephen. He came, he was so happy, he came to my classroom to tell me that I had a new brother. Now, I was the closest in age. Stephen was the youngest of 7. I was 14 years old. My oldest brother was 24 years old at the time, and we had 5 in between. So he was our little pet, no, our little brother. He was treated like we all held him. Who wouldn't hold him all the time? And we spoiled him rotten. And we couldn't believe this little miracle. My father was 49. My mother was 44. Now, today, having a baby at 44 is not that unusual. But back in the olden days, it was unusual. He was our gift from God. He was our little miracle. He was the core of our family. Stephen's 8.5 years old. My dad goes in for an operation. He has diabetes. He was going to have at least one leg amputated. But he tries this new thing with the vein operation to put a vein in there from another part of the body. In recovery, he had an embolism. He dies. Stephen's 8.5 years old. Our dad's gone. Stephen was crushed. I remember Stephen crying and saying to my mother, but Mom, you're going to be okay, right? You're going to be okay. You're not going to leave me, right, Mom? You're going to be here. You're going to be okay. And she says, yes, Stephen, of course, I will be here for you. A year and a half later, my mom dies of cancer. Stephen's orphaned at 10 years old. At 10 years old. He doesn't know he's lost. He goes to live with my oldest brother, Russ, in Rockville Center. We're all from Staten Island. He goes and my brother was teaching out in St. Agnes in Rockville Center. He goes and lives with my brother Russ. I go out and visit him one day soon after, and all the siblings played a major part in his upbringing, a very major part in his upbringing. So he had like 3 extra fathers and 3 extra mothers, because it was... And I was out there walking him. I was walking him to a basketball court. We're going to play a little basketball, toughen him up a little bit. And I'm walking... and he's beside me, and each step I take, he's going further, further back away from me. I turn around, he's distraught. He's welling up. He had these big eyes, and he was welling up. I said, Stephen, what's the matter? And as soon as I said that, I said, how do you even ask that question, what's the matter? How do you ask that question? You know what's the matter. His father died when he was 8.5 years old. His mother just died a couple of months. He's orphaned. Yeah, he has older siblings, but he doesn't have his mother and father. I said, Stephen, what's the matter? He goes, Frankie, why did Mommy and Daddy have to die? Tears coming down his face. He says, why did Mommy and Daddy have to die? I said, I don't know why, Stephen. And he goes, I wish I was never born. I said, oh, God, Stephen, don't say that. Mommy and Daddy love you so much, they brought you into this world. And your brothers and sisters, we will always be there for you. We will never let you down. And I don't know why Mommy and Daddy had to die, but God put you on earth for a reason, and one day you will do something very special. 9:59 a.m. I start driving around different firehouses to try to find out where, what list, or Stephen was there, or whatever, trying to get information, and got none, because there was no information right away. Second building comes down. I go to my brother's place of business. I said, George, come on, you have to come to the house. This is not good. This is very bad. I called my sisters up. My brother Russ was already at my house. And we started gathering at my house and sitting around the TV in my living room, watching in despair. I get a call from a firefighter, Richie Obermeyer, who was down at Ground Zero. He says to me, Frank, I'm down here. I don't know where he called from. I'm down here, and I want to tell you, it's very bad. I said, I know, Richie. I'm watching on TV. I could see how it's terrible. It's terrible. I can't believe that you guys are down there. I feel so bad. He goes, no, Frank, it's really bad. I said, I know, Rich. I'm watching. It's terrible. He goes, no, Frank, you don't understand. Nobody's coming home. My heart dropped. I believed it at 9:59 when the building came down, but to hear from somebody else. I had to walk in the other room and tell my siblings the conversation I just had. My sister Gina let out a shriek that I'll never, ever forget. My daughter jumped in my wife's arms. She was in the 8th grade and home from school. We were on our knees, crying and praying. No, not Stephen, not that little boy whose dad died when he was 8.5 years old. Not that little boy who was orphaned by the time he was 10. No, not Stephen. Not Stephen, who's married and has 5 kids. Not Stephen. Those poor kids are not going to know what a man he was. He'll hear the stories, but they won't live it. But yes, Stephen. And when we heard what he did to get there, his older siblings, we decided that we were going to recognize and honor and make sure we never forget as a family. So we started a foundation. And at one point, we said, well, how are we going to fund this foundation? We decided that we were going to do a run through the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel like Stephen did that day. And maybe some people will come and join us, whatever. We'll raise some money. And what we were going to do, we were going to do $1,000 scholarships to kids in the 8th grade going into high school that came from St. Agnes, where my brother taught and my brother Stephen went, Blessed Sacrament in Staten Island, and Sacred Heart in Staten Island once because all 7 Siller kids went to Blessed Sacrament and my brother Stephen's kids went to Sacred Heart. $1,000. If you lost a parent, we were going to give you $1,000 a year for 4 years. That's what we were going to do. So we have the first run. We're able to raise some money, and we wanted these small acts of kindness. These small acts of kindness. I didn't know this then. I'm not that smart. I can't see into the future. All I know is we wanted to honor. And the first run we ever had, we had the names of every single firefighter who perished that day, the first year that we did the Tunnel to Towers run. Why? Because we knew that Stephen wasn't the only hero. He was my hero, but he wasn't the only hero. And we have the banners. If you ever come to New York the last Sunday in September, we have the banners. When you come out of that tunnel, we have the 343 banners of every firefighter that paid the ultimate sacrifice on 9/11, because our first promise is to never forget and to honor the sacrifice as a foundation. But soon after, we went to war, and we were losing so many guys. I went down to Walter Army Reed Medical Center. First quadruple amputee to ever survive any war was from Staten Island, where Stephen was born, where I was born, where 7 Sillers were born. I went down there to visit him. Sergeant Brendan Morocco, when I was down there, I said, not planning. I said, can we build you a home? He lost 4 limbs, above his elbows, above his knees. He's from Staten Island. Can we build you a home? And he humbly accepted it. I kept on going down to Walter Reed. I met 2 more quadruple amputees. I met 38 triple amputees. And on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, Commissioner Cassano was sitting right over here. He was with us down in St. George in Staten Island, not knowing what I was going to say, just like now. I said, we're going to build those 38 houses for those triple amputees. If we're building for quadruple, we need to build for the triple amputees, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. And this year alone, for the 25th anniversary, we're going to deliver 343 mortgage-free homes, and 100 of them, and 100 of them are going to be smart homes for these catastrophically injured service members and first responders. We've been doing many things over the years. We take care of, I promise to you, everybody here, the foundation is going nowhere. It's built to last forever because it's going to be needed forever. Soon thereafter, we made a promise for every first responder in America. Every first responder in America, you die in the line of duty. This is all for you. This is what I swear to the man upstairs the foundation will do forever. I swear, because it's built forever, that you go out there and you die, you give your life for your community, you leave a young family behind. I swear to you that we're going to make sure that your family's taken care of, and we're going to pay off your mortgage. Every single one. That's our promise to you. And we're not only going to pay off your mortgage, we just made an announcement now. Just very recently, in the name of my mom and dad, the May and George Siller Scholarship Program, we are now going to pay for your kids' college free. Every one of your kids, if you die, you give your life, we're going to make sure your kids have a house and they have an education. And that is our commitment to you. I was just recently on the phone. We lost 7 because, you know, we take care of our Gold Star families as well, the same promise we made to them. I was just, you know, we lost 13 service members in the war in Iran so far, 13. You know, the two fueling planes that were fueling and they went down. So of the 13, 7 of them have young families. I had the honor to call all 7, 5 widows, 2 widowers. I called them, and I tell them, and it's a very emotional phone call all the time, and I make hundreds a year, and it's very emotional, but it is an honor to make. And I told them that we're going to take care of you, we're going to pay off your mortgage, and you could stay in your home. And I just talked to one of the widowers, Greg Pruitt. Greg's wife, Ashley, was one of the pilots that died and went down over the ocean. And he could hardly speak. And I said, Greg, what's the matter? Once again, like I said, what's the matter with Stephen? I know what's the matter. I said, but you could hardly, what's going on today? Because I've spoke to him several times. And this particular time, he couldn't even speak. I said, what's going on today? What is going on today? Something I know is going. He goes, I just got my wife's personal belongings. And I don't have her phone. Her phone went down with her. And she has all the pictures. She has all the pictures. He's crying on the phone. He says, I don't have these pictures. This is what happens when the sacrifice is made. There's more to it. The ripple effect is crippling to our families that pay such a price. And that's why we have to be here together always to take care of these families and not just give them a mortgage-free home, or just not pay off for the education, but to be with them, to comfort them, to support them. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, because who better than fire departments to be with everybody? 25th year, I'll end with this. 25th year, one of the things we're doing, we took a piece of steel from the South Tower, one of the I-beams. We built this beautiful truck, and we're going to bring it all across America. Because you know what? How many people are forgetting? And remember, our first promise is to never forget. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation, we have a education program, K through 12. You can go to t2t.org. It tells a story. Many of you guys have told the story here. But we have this piece of steel going around, and we're going to have a little steps on that, the portable steps. You don't see it here in the pictures, but we have a portable step. And on that step, I want everybody to go up there. I want everybody to go up those steps. And I want them to put their hand on that piece of steel. And I want them to feel the sacrifice that was made on September 11th, 2001. I want them to know that so many heroes ran towards the fire and towards those buildings, and that their souls are in that steel. My brother's soul is in that steel. I want them to feel that when they put their hand on that steel, the sacrifice that was made that day. I want them to make sure that they don't forget, because we don't want it to happen again. That steel will go all over. And on September 11th, 2026, I'll be walking through that tunnel that my brother ran through with that piece of steel with my family. And we will walk up to ground zero. We're going to 10 House. We will kneel and pray where the names of 343 firefighters are etched in eternity in bronze. And we will kneel there and we'll pray for heroes like my brother and like all the firefighters here today. Thank you. God bless you. And of course, God bless America.
Great job. God bless you. That's good. I'll take it. Oh, yeah.
We all know the great good that Frank does with the Tunnel to Towers. The Courage and Valor Foundation is honored to present a check for $500,000.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I promise you we won't waste 5 cents of this. Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Tight. All right. Whew. What a show. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Enjoy the expanded classrooms, our new HIT sessions, our workshops, our hands-on training. Don't forget the Fools Bashes tonight. The stadium experience will open tomorrow at 10 a.m. The stair climb is Friday. Please enjoy yourselves, network, share your experiences, and take what you learned back home to your departments. Thank you. And to reiterate what Frank just said, if everybody will join us. Bless